To begin today's video, we actually do pick up in a city called Davos. Now with this city right here, there is a big meeting happening right now in this city. And this meeting happens every year, once a year, every single year. And this meeting is where you have a bunch of different world leaders from across the world coming together to talk about economics. Now with that being said, this meeting is very important because this is the first meeting where you actually have mutants being invited. With that being said, the mutants that were invited were Charles Xavier, Magneto, and Apocalypse, because technically they are the leaders of their country, COPPA. And so right now they were invited to this meeting to discuss different things about economics. Now with that being said, they also brought Cyclops and Gorgon for one special reason. Now, you do have Jonathan Hickman explain to us what are captains. What I mean is that with COPPA being a new nation, you have the Quiet Council, and the Quiet Council usually decides what the nation is going to do and not going to do. With that being said though, you also have captains. Now with these captains, you have captains assigned for different things. But Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, he is one of the many captains. And Gorgon is the other captain who was also brought here to this meeting. Now, I am going to explain more about Gorgon as we go through this video, but either way, Gorgon is a captain just like Cyclops, but they were brought here to protect Charles Xavier, Magneto, and Apocalypse. Now, Cyclops and Gorgon, they are not allowed to go inside the meeting room. And the reason why, because technically they are not leaders from their nation. Their leaders is Charles Xavier, Magneto, and Apocalypse, and possibly any other member of the Quiet Council. But with that being said, only those three characters can go inside the meeting room. Cyclops and Gorgon must stay outside the meeting room. But of course, this meeting will go south for a lot of different reasons. Now, you do have Charles Xavier actually contact Cyclops right before the meeting is able to begin. And the reason why, because he was able to figure out there are two assault teams in the building. You have one assault team above everyone on a different level, and you have a different assault team underneath them on another level. And so it's Cyclops being contacted by Charles Xavier, and Charles telling him and Gorgon to go ahead and take care of those two assault teams before things could get ugly. Now, the first part of the meeting is very, very important. And the reason why, because you basically have these world leaders asking Charles Xavier, Magneto, and Apocalypse, how in the world do they expect the humans to trust the mutant race? And the reason why I say that is because at the very beginning of Jonathan Hickman's run on the X-Men with House of X and Power of X, you had Charles Xavier tell the world that sooner or later the mutant race will take over the world, not by force, but because that is the next step in evolution. So sooner or later, humans will go away. But with that being said, right now, the humans do not trust the mutant race. On top of that, with them having their own nation, you have some world leaders really asking the question, how in the world can we really trust you guys? Because right now, you really won't work with us like you should. Yes, you gave us your medicine. You gave us different things here and there. But here's the biggest problem. We still can't trust you, and you don't trust us. So how can we help you guys and trust you guys if you're not down to actually trust us? And of course, we all know why. Because the mutant race has been attacked and hunted so many times over the years. It's so hard for a brand new nation to go ahead and trust the human race who hate them so much because they look different or they have powers. And that right there is very, very important. Now, before we are able to go ahead and jump into the next part of the meeting, you do have Cyclops fighting against one of the two assault teams in the building that were brought here to most likely attack Charles Xavier, Magneto, and Apocalypse. But you have Cyclops fighting against one of the two assault teams, where most likely Gorgon is fighting against the other. But either way though, the meeting continues on. And with the meeting going on, the next part of the meeting is where you have Magneto tell the world leaders that the new nation, COPPA, has to learn a lot of different things from humans. What he means is that right now you have Magneto telling, we're not going to go to war against the human race. Instead, we are going to attack you in different ways. And so when we do attack you, it won't be with powers or missiles or guns. It's going to be us attacking you with money, economics, some kind of way to mess up your country, to make your country fall apart from the inside out. But with that being said, it's Magneto saying, and we learn all these different strategies from you guys, the human race, because again, you're trying to take over the world, get rid of the mutant race. But now the mutant race has so many different options. We are no longer going to hide somewhere. We're going to pop out and take over the world in different kinds of ways. And that is the second part of the meeting. But things are about to get more interesting. Now, to go ahead and wrap up this book, you do have Magneto realize that one of the world leaders keep touching his ear because of course he has an earpiece, and that earpiece was giving him the ability to communicate with the two assault teams that he had brought here to this building to hopefully kill off Charles Xavier, Magneto, or Apocalypse. But of course, those assault teams were taken out by Cyclops and Gorgon. Now, with that being said though, you do have Charles Xavier bring up the big idea on why the world, mutants, can't trust humans. Because he said it took you guys 1 month. 1 month after we have formed our nation, that someone came to our island, shot and killed me. And we saw that back in X-Force #1. And so it's him saying that right now, you guys are the bad guys. We are minding our business, leaving you guys alone. But of course, y'all can accept that because you know we're finding different ways to most likely take over the earth. And you humans cannot like the idea of being second place to mutants. And so it's Charles Xavier telling the world leaders in this meeting, you're really going to have to adapt to the new world that could possibly come very soon in the next couple years. But with that being said, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video. Later, guys.